All right. I've had an extremely busy day today, but I know you're not going to let me go forward until I ask you about your day today, Laura. How's your day been?
Well, I started out in the gym. I've been sticking to it ever since our Nick Baumgartner episode. Very proud of myself.
He's doing qualifications right now.
I see. I follow him, all his stuff. Have you seen his cute little reels with his little stomp and then he's like on the snow? I'm like,
he's come a long way.
Yeah.
He's come a long way.
I love him. But other than that, the gym, that's about it. So far, and now I'm talking to you.
Well, let's get into this because I think we've got a really cool guest today with a lot of things that probably we're going to learn. And if we're going to learn something, hopefully that means everybody else is going to learn something too. All
right, let's go.
Let's do it.
Live from Times Square, it's Pop Recovery Systems, led by visionary Laura Alexis. Pop Recovery Systems, redefining surgical recovery with bariatric expert Dr. Eric Smith. Innovating surgical preparation and recovery, Pop Recovery Systems blends nutrition, mental health, and wellness.
Breaking through the noise and changing an industry. Join Laura Alexis and Dr. Eric Smith on the Pop Culture Podcast.
How you guys doing? How's your guys' holidays? How's Thanksgiving? How's the family?
Good. My family's great.
Good.
How about you?
Yeah. Amazing.
How are your babies?
They're beautiful. They're at school, and Tanya's about to pick them up in 20 minutes. And we had a great Thanksgiving. We had mother-in-law cook up a Middle Eastern storm and, 15 dishes and whatnot. And, who even looked at the turkey when you've got all these other dishes? But I decided to go ice skating with the kids and in La Jolla, San Diego. And I did okay. It's like 30 minutes into it, I was good, and then I thought I was some cool guy pulling out the camera, and then last minute, let me see if I can pull this up. I'll show you guys. I ate shit pretty good, but yeah, no, it was fun. My wife literally got it, and it was hilarious. But my kids thought I was the coolest guy in the world, right?
Did you post it yet?
Move it over to your left.
There you go.
Hold on. Let me redo it.
Yeah.
That's me in the block and right there.
Face first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh that hard. Not cool, Moshi.
I was like, what was I thinking, man? I got my health back and I'm all pumped up and I think I'm this macho cool guy that can. Anyways, but it went well.
I mean, you've gone through such a transformation. I mean, you're trying all the things now, right?
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Because believe it or not, I was a really good ice skier. I'm actually a black diamond skier. I can do all the moguls and everything. I'll probably have to get my legs underneath me again with all the moguls and all that. But I thought the ice skating would be exactly the same, and I was wrong.
Man, I got to admit to you, like years ago, my kids were smaller. My mom found an old skateboard that I had at her house, and she brought it over. And I thought, I want to show you guys how to ride a skateboard, And I would ride with my friends. We had like a little quarter pipe. I couldn't do big tricks, but I could ride to have fun. And I jump on this skateboard. We just got home from church. So I've got like nice pants on, nice sweater on. I jump on this skateboard and I take off and I try to, where you move the front of the skateboard back and forth.
Yeah.
And then skid. And I go to skid and the skateboard comes right out from under me. I hit the ground. I rip a big hole in my pants, in my sweater. I'm bleeding, and my kids' eyes were this big. And like, I don't ever want to ride a skateboard.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they're 18 and 20 now, and they still remind me.
Remember
that?
Hey,
you want to teach us how to ride a skateboard?
Yeah, that's the memories you'll remember.
We're super excited to have you today, Moshi, to talk about your health journey and other things. I would like to kind of start back to the beginning of your journey because we see this ice skating Moshi. We hear about this skiing Moshi, and I mean, even from the last time I've seen you, you've even toned up even more. So we see this fit Moshi, but it wasn't always like that, right?
No, thank God. I'm very blessed and, able to do all these new things. And every day I find myself, realizing, wow, I wasn't able to do that. Like, flying, I fly a lot. So it's like before I had a seatbelt extension, and I had to figure out several ways of being low key about it. Like, I need a seatbelt extension, or whatever, now it's just like that. Just everyday things like that, like going to the, so I have season passes at the Rams football. And I remember not being able to fit, or the Lakers be able to fit in the regular seats. I could, put some lubrication in there and I could slip in, but it was one of those things. Now it's like, I look back and I got this much room on each side, and everything, going to the movies, just every day is just an amazing, beautiful reminder of what health is, which is really wealth. And I could probably sit here and talk your guys' ears out about how life is so changed for me. I just go on and on and on with getting in and out of the Lambo, getting in, buying supercars because I was just, unhappy, trying to fake my happiness. Right. And, going to casinos, that was a big thing for me, is going to the casinos. And, I was a big gambler, and, I feel like we're all like family and stuff. So I'll just let it out. I gambled at least $1 million a year minimum. And, you walk in and, hey, Mr. Moshi, how are you? Stroking you. And they already know you're coming in for dinner. And all the waitresses are like, hey, he's the champ. There's Moshi, so it's just, so you get used to those endorphins and you're excited and you feel all this love, and, you've got the fake people on the side, your entourage following you to the casino, and, giving them a little extra money to play with, and, whether it's vacations and all that. It was, the point I'm trying to make, I guess, here is that you get less brain fog, you get clarity, and you sit back and you realize, and you go, okay, that was my fault. I let that happen. And I was in need of love. I was in need of people to be around me, and I didn't want to be lonely. And I had to buy my happiness. I'll be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Now it's like I get in and out of that Lambo, like flying, jumping in and out. I think of everybody that's in my smaller circle now. If they're genuine, if they're worthy of being a good friend. We all have acquaintances, and I still have plenty of acquaintances. And it's like people at church. It's like, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you for a year, but how you doing? And you respect everybody until you're disrespected. But the real close circle that I thought I had, which when I posted something on Instagram the other day, which is if you're, there's a few things, but if your phone wasn't ringing when you were down, then don't pick it up when you're up. And also be wary of the people that are just out there to just take advantage of you. It's so easy. It's so easy when you have money. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to boast or anything like that, but when you have money, it's like people flock to you for the wrong reason. And it's like, I'm a giving, loving person. I don't mind helping people. Everybody needs a push in life. Everybody needs that. Here, I'm going to help you get to your next level, whether it's business or finance, whatever finances you need help with. And I love generally in my heart to help people. My end goal is to travel the world and help as many third world countries as I can, and all the starving kids and all the people out there. But that's long story short. But now it's like, the people that were just taking advantage of you. I know it's my fault, welfaring them and helping them, but it's so much better now that I don't really need all that around me. I don't need the attention. I'm very able to do everything on my own with my wife and kids. All I need is my wife and 2 children, and whoever else is around me, bonus, and God bless you guys. And if you want to be in my circle, I love you guys. Thank you. And I'll genuinely help you if you're that genuine person. But Man, also in business, it's like you go up, and you chase all this money and you forget about your health, and that was something that I did. And my brother, on the other hand, is a professional bodybuilder, and everyone's like, "Hey, Moshi, what the hell happened to you, dude? You're 420 pounds. Your brother's a stud." I said, well, the truth is he went into business for his health, and I went into business for money. And thank God I am able here today to talk to you and tell you guys that I am now healthy and I've got money still, thank God. But I want to be able to educate people and say, hey, look, put your health right there as important as your wealth is, because they're absolutely, doctor, you could tell everybody there is no health without wealth. There is no wealth without health. But
so I have a question for you, Moshi.
Yeah, I'm sorry for rambling on.
No, don't worry about it. So did you see people in your circle start to go away because you were getting healthy?
No, I seen them go away because I stopped feeding them. And I stopped enabling because you were able to see yourself. Because I was able to see what I was doing. Yeah. And I was basically just doing the wrong thing. It sucks because in my heart, I'm thinking I'm helping these people out, and they're never going to see a vacation. They're never going to go to Hawaii and Caribbeans and this and that. And great for me that I'm able to make this dream happen for this person. But then it becomes a continuous thing. And then it drags back on when you get home. Like, hey, where are we going out to eat? What are we doing today? Like 3-4 times a week. Where are we going to eat? I'm like, I quit gambling, local gambling, because of that. By the way, I stopped gambling completely except for Vegas, because that was another big thing that was taking away from me. I was going to the casino, spending, and I would go around like 8:00 at night when the kids are about to go to bed. So really I was maybe 7. So I would lose about 1 to 2 great hours with the kids every day. 4 days a week, bare minimum. That adds up in a year, how many hours you're missing with the kids. And number 2, you're doing all the wrong things. You're wasting money gambling for stupid reasons just to get those endorphins high. You're stroked by all these people that are giving you fake love. And it sucks on the tax season. Your CPA's going, you made an extra $5 million this year? Okay, your income went up like $5 million. I'm like, yeah, deduct. And
I lost a lot too.
Yeah. So the unfortunate part is you can only use your losses towards your wins, but it puts you in that higher category. So if you made $5 million and you actually won $5 million, now you're at 10 million, then they get to deduct. So you're at a higher category. So that's another. But so, going to the casino, you're not only losing, you're eating bad. So, you're sitting at this casino and you're hitting the machine and you're excited and you're looking around, the drink lady comes around, cocktails. Okay. You're drinking these sugary drinks and you're excited because you're pumped and you're like, who cares right now? And then you're sending your boys over to, hey, go get some M&Ms and get some Snickers and get some this next. You need that energy, keep going. And you come home and you obviously lose 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. And then you're like, get on the scale the next day and you're like, dude, this is all bad. And then you hit the tax lady at the end of the year and then you're just, so it's a lose-lose. But these are all the big, if I had to explain the major changes I made in my life, was giving up gambling, giving up, I don't even want to use the word toxic, but just people that were just, I was enabling, and prioritizing my eating habits. I haven't stepped into the gym for 2 years. I swear to God, I have dumbbells at home that are made, the Bowflex dumbbells. I'll do curls, I'll do shoulders, I'll do triceps, I'll get on my back, do chest. I do push-ups. I do squats while I'm showering. I do 100 squats a day. My wife's looking at me at the beginning, like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, you'll realize later on. You'll figure it out when I can get down there and give you some dance moves. Hey, I get it in wherever I can get it in. And I leave my dumbbells right next to the front door and it says eyesore, but I'm like, babe, please don't be mad, but I'm leaving these here. Every time I come in and I leave, I'm gonna hit a set and do whatever I gotta do. But just parking further, jogging at night with the kids, and I'm trying to enable the kids, to make it a family thing, and eating high proteins and obviously low carbs, and there's no secret, scientific, approach to it. but it's just about being consistent, giving up, bad habits, and, just staying consistent. I was always
you bring up a good point. I want to talk about, because you just said giving up bad habits, and I work really hard with people trying to get them to understand habits. When people have weight loss surgery, they talk about goals. It's automatic. I'm telling you, every person who has weight loss surgery, or anybody who wants to lose weight, they have a goal in their mind, whether they say it or not, they do. And many times it's associated with how much weight they lose. They also might have a goal if they want to do an activity or something like that. And those are great. But what I really want, there's a really good statement that I try to live by, that goals bring short-lived happiness and habits bring long-term results.
Absolutely.
But habits aren't sexy. Because a habit is something that you do every single day that ultimately will lead to your goal. But remembering to hit your protein goals, doing something basic with your family, doing all these things, and getting rid of bad habits is the same way. Whether you're establishing a new habit or you're getting rid of a bad habit, it is something that it's routine. It's not fancy. There isn't all the celebration about it. It's not Instagram worthy, that you took your vitamins today or something like that. And, I think if it's hard in a society that is motivated by instant gratification, they're motivated by the outside congratulating you. It's hard to do those, what we consider mundane things that lead to those results. You sounds like you fell victim to finding love in ways where people showed you that love and that attention. It wasn't long lived, it wasn't sustainable.
No way.
And, it sounds to me like you were probably at a point where you were searching for happiness but you wanted to give so much to other people. And I heard the statement one time when I needed to hear it, that they said, man, you got a big hole in your bucket. And until you fix that hole in your bucket, you don't have anything to give anybody else. You're trying, but you're empty constantly. Yeah. Finding that internal happiness, whether it be through your faith or whether it be through your family, or for you, whether it be through what was causing you to maybe turn to food and things like that, and being happy, and all the other stuff is just a bonus. It's not what you have to have. You didn't give up your cars. I've seen your cars on Instagram, but you don't have to have those cars to be who you are and be happy. It's just the icing on the cake.
Absolutely. 1000% correct. You nailed everything on the dot. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. It becomes like second nature with the habits, like you were talking about. I journal things. I make sure I spend more time with family. Just everything that is completely different 360 than what I'd used to do before. And you're absolutely right. It's not Instagram worthy. It's not something that is going to get you all these views and, hoorah, good job. You had your vitamins, like you said, and things like that. It's something that you got to dig deep within yourself and believe in yourself, and know that the question for me, for everybody, it's the why, right? Why did you do this?
Yeah.
And, my family was the most important reason why. You go and chase money and you make all the money, but you're sitting in a hospital bed with AFib and go thinking, I'm going to die. What if you died? I mean, that was all for nothing. You chose money over your health, and now you're going to sacrifice it. I was blessed by God that I did not die, that I'm still alive, and I'm still here to be a testimony and to help, because my mom passed away at 53 years old from being diabetic to kidney failure to dialysis, 9 years. And thank God thank you. I was able to have her in my wedding. Thank God, a beautiful wedding video that I always remember her with. And so I lost my mom at 26 years old. I got married at 23. Lost my mom at 26. I had never knew who my real dad was until I was 21. I never even seen a picture of him. Now we're like best friends. But going and trying to have kids. We had kids at 37 and she was 35. Couldn't have them. I had to have in vitro. Thank God I had in vitro. I mean, Kaiser was like, yo, look, you're not producing anything. So you're not going to go adopt or have a dog or whatever. And I mean, I'm like, what? I married the love of my life. I mean, Tanya and I have known each other since 12 years old, and we had 600 people at my wedding, and everyone's like, yo, when are you guys going to have kids? And I'm like, I'm dying, and I see all these freaking people out there that are just putting their kids in trash cans and going, God, just please bless me with the kids, because I am going to be the best, you know?
So what was the final thing that brought you to choosing to have weight loss surgery?
My daughter, I was leaning over and, you know, watching TV, and she came over and was patting my belly, and she goes, Daddy, I don't want you to die. Are you going to die?
Oh man.
And you know, doctor, I have only cried one time because my mom, you know, the funeral. It's not that I'm a macho guy. I just don't know how to cry. It's really hard for me to emotionally cry. But I went to the bathroom and I started bawling my eyes out, and I said, shame on you. Shame on you for letting yourself get this far. Shame on you for one day putting them through the hardship of having to visit you in hospitals and do things. What's the matter with you? You know, get your shit straight, or you know, or just give up. What are you going to do? And then we went to Universal Studios, and you know, same thing happened. We got on the rides, and I was very, very, you know, really smart about knowing, okay, I'm not going to fit on this ride. So I underestimated, you know, and we got on one, and mind you, wait 2 hours to get on the slide, and we're all excited. And it was Indiana Jones or Revenge of Indiana Jones or something like that. And you have to pull the lap bar down and the light turns green, and it wasn't turning green. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to suck it in. And it was like not turning green. I'm like, well, maybe she just won't. No, I'll hold it and I'll sacrifice. And, you know, just to make my daughter happy, it wasn't upside down. It was just kind of, you know, but I was sacrificing. Yeah, no big deal. But I wanted to make my daughter happy. And so the attendant started walking over, and I knew. So I started getting up. My daughter goes, Dad, where are you going? I said, I got to go use the restroom. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, and she's like 5 years old at the time. She's like, we're already here. We waited. I'm like, I know, I got to go really bad. So I'll see you guys at the exit. And she was really upset. And that was the second time I started crying in the freaking bathroom. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. I had already inquired with UCLA to get the gastric sleeve a year ago, and I chickened out. I'll be honest with you, I just backed out, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm this macho guy that, you know, was fit when I was younger, and I can do this again. And I'm trying to pull up a picture here to show you guys what I looked like when I was 21, because I was pretty damn fit. Maybe you guys have seen it on my Instagram, but so I said,
you were fit
what?
when you were 21? I did not know that.
Yeah, let me show you guys a picture of me and my brother, which is a bodybuilder now. I mean, did really well with his whole, you know, life story. But
well, you don't have to, like, and Laura knows this, you don't have to worry about not getting choked up and crying, because when you said that, I was like fighting it back. Like, I can't imagine, you know, what that's like. You know, I mean, the words of an innocent child.
That was me on the right.
I never
that's my
knew
brother.
that.
Yeah, that was in Utah at Zion National Park.
What transpired between, like, from there?
So right at this moment, going forward, my career. So I got, remember, I got married at 23. So we were engaged at 21, and I'm going, all right, I'm not going to be this freaking sucker that just, you know, so in my culture, you know, you go ask the lady for her hand, my parents and everything, big Middle Eastern culture, we go to the house and, you know, they're like, hey, we want to ask your daughter to marry our, you know, son. And so we made that approach, and I can't be this freaking loser. Sorry. I mean, I don't know however entitled myself, but I had to make sure I stepped up. And, you know, the whole stigma behind being married young was like, you're going to fail. So I'm like, there's no way. I was raised a lot different. I was working at 12 years old with my uncle at swap meets and just the whole 9 yards of learning how to deal with customers and just chasing business. So I knew at that point at 21, I had a marriage 2 years out, because we had, you know, planned it 2 years later. And I said, I'm not going to be this guy that says, hey, pay for my wedding, help me out. No, I knew I was going to pay for it on my own. And I paid for it. All 600 people. It was only like 80 grand back then, because it was like $40 a plate. Now it's like $200 a plate. You know?
Yeah, so, now.
Yeah.
You know
so
that, huh?
I'll get hit with my twins, but you know, but I got a big discount back then. But you know, again, you do the whole wedding in Middle Eastern culture, they drop an envelope every time. So you're getting like, I got all my money back. So I took that money. We bought a house with KB Homes over here in Temecula. Everything was great at that point. But then I was like, okay, I need to make sure that I provide and I do well. And I just want to be that winner in this, you know, and working was very first nature to me. It was like all I knew how to do, but I needed to incorporate skills and talent and put it all together and make a business. And so I began working with my uncle that owned a computer. He had like 6 retail stores, and we did wholesale Monday through Friday, and we did swap meets on the weekends. Yeah, I was hustling, making whatever, 8-10 grand a month back then. I'm 46 now. It was like, 20 years ago. So I was great enough to pay the bills and maybe take a vacation a year and not drive the supercars a lot. And then we got into buying a recycling center, my uncle and I, and ran that and did really well with that and opened up a second recycling center. And then I just took off from there and started buying a bunch of stuff, doing wholesale liquidation, retail stores.
So was it busy with work that led you to kind of maybe being so busy with work that not paying attention to your diet?
You must have been real busy, Moshi.
Great question. And the answer is I went from doing work to delegating work. So rather than getting on and off the forklift, jumping around, I still had the same food intake habit, but my exercise and my burning calories habit went down the drain. Pumping a pallet jack, unloading semi trucks, and sweating my butt out and going. So you
couldn't get away with it anymore.
Yes,
so your eating habits may have not been great, but it was conducive to your lifestyle and your activity level that, it really didn't show.
Yeah, I kept the food intake the same, and I absolutely, doctor, you're right.
So what was the highest weight you got to?
420. And it was after a trip. I nestled somewhere around the 385 to 395 for about 5, 6, 7 years. And I was like 350, and I'd get to like 303 one time. And, I did this P90X, actually. I'll share photos with you guys a while ago.
I did that.
Yeah, the Tony Horton. Yeah. And so I was at 310 and I got to 240. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I just, kept going up and up and up. Finally, I went on a cruise, and then I went to Hawaii, and that I gained like 15, 20 pounds, came back home, and I just kept going with it. I was like, I'm going to get back into it next week, the whole thing. And then, sitting on the scale going 420, no way. Like literally, I remember telling myself when I was young, when I hit 300, when I was about to hit 300, I was like 280s, and I was just, like right around 19, 20. No, I was like 21, right after that picture, that I would be like devastated and all this bad stuff if I ever let myself get to 300. When I saw the 400 number, I was a starting tight end in high school as football, and I was bench pressing. My best friend Reuben Drones played for the New York Giants, and he got his Super Bowl ring when they beat the Patriots, whatever, and I was the tight end, and we were really, really, really active. I was very, very healthy. And again, like you said, you go from, the same food intake, but no habit changes, and you stop the calorie deficit. It's science. You're gonna put the weight on, and you become comfortable going through these gas stations and eating horrible food when you're driving an hour to meet with the client. And it's like, you can't make great you can food prep, meal prep. It just wasn't, I don't know. I was just really, really deep end with, I need that taste of good food and, and Snickers or whatever candy to keep me going when I'm driving.
What role do you think mental health and mental health wellness has played in your success? How long ago did you have your surgery again? Remind me. How many years ago?
2022.
Okay.
And October 28th. I'm looking up October 28th. Yes.
Okay.
October
so about 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago.
Exactly 2 years ago. Yes, sir.
So obviously, I say this all the time. I said it today and to a bunch of patients, but I always say losing weight is easy. Maintaining weight loss is hard. Now that's 100%. After surgery. I'm not saying losing weight for everybody is easy, but after surgery, losing weight is, you got to work really hard to not lose weight after surgery. Yes. It comes off. But maintaining weight loss is so hard. And unfortunately, that's a different topic maybe for later today or another day. But unfortunately, that doesn't bring the same reward as, hey, look at my pictures. 3 years out, I'm 175. 4 years out, I'm 175. 5 years out, I'm 175. Like, whoopee, what's that mean? But that is harder without question to do than to go from, I was 300 and now I'm 175 over this period. What role do you think mental health played in you not only achieving the results that you had, but you're talking about a completely different perspective on life now. The way that you look at your family, the way that you look at your time, you've given up some habits that you felt like weren't good for you. That's mental health. How did you come about that?
I got to give my glory to God and praying every time. My family has been a really, really big support system, and looking into my children's eyes and seeing the joy, beats any joyness out there that you can ever ask for. So being able to do all the things that I'm able to do now just keeps my mind mentally focused on the longevity goal of, I tell a lot of people, I see a lot of people that are very well fit that are in my age or older or younger. And, like my brother, he's a bodybuilder, so he's also a trainer. You sort of need to live the lifestyle that almost forces you to be fit. And if not, you really got to have some really great determination, because look at actors, they got to stay fit, UFC, boxing, whatever it may be, they've got to stay fit. So every relevant person that you see in the gym 6-7 days a week, his lifestyle, her lifestyle is based around something that a camera is like, yo, what do you look like today? Mm-hmm. So if you don't have that, you got to have some real love. You got to have love. And that's my family. And that's what I'm fighting for.
So it sounds like you changed the people you surrounded yourself with, from the people who were going to say, hey, there's Moshi, treat you like a superstar because you were going to gamble and you were going to spend your money and you were going to buy food. You changed the people who also helped push you into healthier ways of living and health.
1,000%, doctor.
Elvin, I have a question for you.
Yes,
I see your stories, okay? I look at your stories, and you
I already know what you're going to ask me. Go ahead.
You
ask
be
me.
eating so good. How do you continue to stay in a deficit and stay in, because you're still working towards your plastics and everything, and eat like that?
I want to laugh so bad, but I just had the same conversation with my dad. He called me. He goes, George. He's like, Alvin. Oh, my middle name is George. Sorry.
Yeah.
So he calls me George. He's like, how are you eating all this stuff and still? What is it? What are you doing? I'm like, okay. So the secret is, I still go out and I have my immediate small circle, like my brothers or my cousins or my wife, and whatever. My father-in-law, I'm always hanging out with my father-in-law. You learn a lot from elder people.
I feel that. I learn a lot from Eric.
I'll get her for you, Eric.
Unbelievable.
Hey, if you could be half as sexy as Eric, just kidding. Listen, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You know that. But the answer to that is I really need to probably stop doing this, because there is a lot of eyeballs on me, and I've had these questions several times from other people. So I not only for the justify and be the right example and not misrepresent what I'm doing for other people that are trying to lose weight.
No,
because
I want to ask you. I'm going to ask Laura. We're going to play a little game here.
But so he didn't even tell us his secret yet. Don't forget. I'm going to come back to it. But you're not eating it.
I lick a little bit of it, and I pass it. I pass it on.
City episode.
My eyes are satisfied.
So maybe you should show the video of you putting your finger in, like.
I'll do that.
This is my diet. All right, so
the secret is,
what are we playing a game?
But it brings up a good point. So tell me, just think randomly. Don't get your phone out.
No.
What's one of the last stories that you saw? What was he eating?
Oh, her. Okay. You.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. The last one I remember is like barbecue, and it's like had these slivered onions, and like it looked like some really meaty meat, and like this glaze on top, and
so that I eat.
But the reason I bring this up, I love the secret. By the way, that's so funny. And listen, here's what's crazy. Like I do what I do for a living.
Of course.
Okay.
And you do it great.
I'm not a patient, there's things I could do better, but man, when I'm out to dinner and I know 90% of the time there's somebody in the restaurant that knows who I am, or they may be one of my patients. I mean, many times I don't know my patients are sitting close to me because they look so different than they did when they had surgery years ago.
Yes.
And it's hard to not be self-conscious about what you're ordering.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But at the end of the day, I hear so many patients who've had bariatric surgery or weight loss surgery, especially on the social media platform. And they'll post something they're eating, and then the comments come in. Well, you shouldn't be eating that. I can't eat all that. I had surgery and I would never even be able to eat that. It actually creates a lot of discussion. I mean, there's bariatric surgery patients out there that their forum the content is a lot of that. And I'm always like, that's a snapshot in time. You're awake for 14 hours, let's say. They have no idea what activity you take part in. They have no idea how you prepared it, and what works with your diet, what you have in your other meals, your snacks and things like that. So obviously this is fun and it's hilarious what your secret is, but I think it brings up a valid point, because you immediately you almost became defensive of yourself. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to defend anything. Your proof is look at you and where you're living. I hear you speak. I hear you talk. I hear you talk about the things that are so important. And don't ever lose sight of the example that you're setting. That may create a topic of conversation one day with somebody who reaches out to you and says, hey, I'm a surgery patient. I'm really struggling with missing those foods. Like, how do you do that? And it may be a blessing in disguise that you can help somebody along the way. It's probably a better story and testament to humanity in general about, looking at somebody, taking a snapshot. I always say, gosh, if we were all judged by our worst day, man, we're all screwed. If you judge me by my worst day, I'm in big, big trouble. Right. And so, just having some understanding where people are coming from, there's so much more to the story.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I try to be as genuine as possible, going out there. So the barbecue thing, I eat protein. That's the first thing I put in my mouth is protein. So my regular is a couple protein shakes a day. And, at least
we got to get you some protein water, Moshi.
That's yeah,
I'll send some your way.
All right. Let's do it. I'm down.
That's right. He's right there. You can send it to him. Oh, that protein water is so good. He can't send it to me because I live mostly in Costa Rica. So
I know you, but where do you live?
He's in Kentucky.
Oh, I'm in Kentucky. We can have it shipped to you. That's easy. You're in the continental United States.
Oh my gosh, Moshi, your life is about to change. This protein water, when I tell you, it's so good, and it has 20 grams of protein per bottle.
Who manufactured it? You or
it's our product?
Yeah, it's his product.
Yeah. I'll send you some.
Send it. I'm going to be posting that every damn time. No worries.
You're going to love it.
You don't have to do it for that reason. I just want you to try it. I think you'll love it.
And the kids will love it too.
Your brother will like it too.
Yeah,
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
So jealous.
I'm very excited about that actually, because, liquids is really important as, you got to maintain your liquids. But, most of my liquids are coming from protein, shakes and, iced tea and things like that. But why not incorporate? I'm trying to hit 150 grams a day. So I'll get let's say 3 shakes in, that's 90 grams of the premier. I'm not going to even say the names. They're not paying me yet. I'm just kidding. But, we got to bring in the business now. No.
Yeah.
So, long story short, we do that. And then I'll try to, I don't ever want to, I didn't want this lifestyle to take away from my family. So I said, one meal with my family every day and at dinner time. I don't care what it is. It's going to be one meal with them every day.
Right.
So we'll go out, and I'll try to eat the fish, the clean, meats and stuff. But occasionally, we'll go out there and we'll have our barbecue with glazed whatever. And, I've practiced to eat more protein liquid than actual solid food. So one of my secrets, and this will be, down the line part of the documentary is, and actually my doctor, Dr. Chen, Chen at UCLA, he's the one that did the sleeve for me. Mm-hmm. I saw him at with the 1 year point, and he was blown away. He's not one of those, like, I'm a huggy type person, like, how you doing, blah, blah. He's kind of more standoffish and, hi, how are you, Mr. Moshi? And, when he saw me after the year, he's like, Mr. Moshi, oh, Melissa, Stephanie, come here, look at this guy. And I was like, what, did I do something wrong? Did I break it? What did I do? And he's like, you look great. He goes, come in here. And he starts telling me. I'm like, wow, okay. He asks me to be like a spokesman for them and go back and do, be an advocate and everything. And, he's like, what did you do other than, he goes, I know what I did. He goes, what did you do? I said, well, you asked me to be on liquids for a month, and I doubled that. I went to 2 months. So I went to 2 months, and I kept my stomach super small, and I kept the memory muscle, kept that, kept it really nice and tiny and small. And throughout these 2 years, I've practiced to have more liquid protein than solid foods to help. And I don't do any of the straws. I've never once yet had any carbonation. Actually, one time it was an accident. I was in Vegas and they made me a drink and I was like, oh, and I spit it out. But zero carbonation, zero straws, zero chewing gum, all this stuff. I've gone by the book. And you teach us all this. So, but I'm very diligent. I'm very consistent. Now the food types, I'll pick around and I'll have a little bit of burger and a couple fries with ranch and whatever, but I can only have like buffalo wings. I'll have like 3 wings and I'm 2 years out, 3, 4 wings and I'm good. And then I'm slowly getting into like a little bit of a 1 or 2 chips, things like that, where guys that I've known, I have a lot of people in the circle that have done the gastric sleeve that are like, they're cool having a whole burger and a French fry and the sodas. And I'm like, dude, you're just going to expand your stomach. And why are you doing all this soda shit? And they're just like, they are putting on a little bit of weight. But overall, gastric sleeve, the best tool I could ever envision for anybody in the world that has my or anybody's issue. Hands down, I'm a big advocate for that. I will speak for you, for anybody, as a living proof that actually my uncle, he's a priest, okay? He's only like 320 pounds, and you've been helping me with the answers and questions on his thing. He's set up with Kaiser, and he's going to be doing it. He's like a month out. He was a pro soccer player. Yes, pro soccer player. Became a deacon, then a priest. Gave his life to God, and standing at that altar and having all those beautiful foods after the altar, with the whole community. He gained his weight, and he became diabetic. So he is only doing it because of my success, and I've had no cons, all pros. I have not thrown up one time. Everyone's like, you get on the computer and you go on these forums and you're like, let me see, gastric sleeve, gastric bypass, all the pros and cons. And you're instantly eyeballing the cons, going, throwing up, feeling sick, dumb syndrome, this, that, all these words. I'm going, I don't want that. No. Dude, so if I could give up every dollar I have today. I am going to rock your world. I am truly going to rock your world. Laura probably knows what I'm going to say, but I'm going to truly rock your world. Bring it, Daddy.
All those things that you did, the liquid diet for an extra month, the elimination of straws and carbonation and chewing gum and all that, what you don't realize is the results you got was not because you took care of your sleeve. It's because you took care of your head. Oh. And here's what I want you to know.
That's huge.
There is zero evidence that straws, carbonation, extending liquid diets keep a sleeve from stretching. If a sleeve is made the right way. Now, the intention of physicians when they say those things, and we're not big on pushing those things because I'm a kind of a science guy and I want to be honest with people, but the intention behind it is very good. And what you did is you taught yourself a level of discipline, i.e., you developed habits of how to preferentially get your protein and your nutrition in. And you found satiety from that. You were satisfied from that. And so when you do eat a couple chicken wings, you're full pretty quickly because it's not something that you're used to. The size of your sleeve now versus if you would have maybe introduced liquids or solids quicker, or you allowed yourself to eat some other different things, still could have been the same. The volume would still be the same 2 years out. But mentally, you accepted new habits and behaviors that gave you not only satiety here, but gave you satiety here. It gave you satisfaction here. You had a purpose behind it because you knew, man, if I do this, I'm doing everything I possibly can to give myself the best chance to get the results that I want. I guarantee you there were times you had hunger pains. I guarantee you there were times that you wanted those things. But you were disciplined, and discipline comes from those habits. And so if you believe that your sleeve wasn't stretching and that's why it worked, I'll take it. I'll accept that.
It's
because guess what? Look in the mirror. It worked. You got those results. But the reality of it is there was science behind it, but you were preparing yourself mentally for a new lifestyle.
I love you for that. That's mind blowing. And I've never, ever thought of it that way. And I believe you. I believe you 1,000%. I mean,
right.
You're the guy that's performing them all day long, and you know what you're talking about. So I'm not going to contest with that. And that is big news. That is shocked my world. It worked 100% mentally. The one thing Dr. Chen had mentioned to me was, hey, two things. I said, what? After the surgery, he says, you did really good. Everything went really well. I said, I was okay, good. He goes, the bad news is, he goes, this only happens to, I don't know, I don't remember the percentage of number to his patients, but he says, when I'm cutting the stomach, the stomach can either expand or contrast. And yours got smaller when I cut it. And then I sewed it up, then he did his thing. So you have a very tiny stomach, and that means more long-term success. But that also means if you eat anything solid in the first month, you could open up you can open it up and die. And I'm going, no, I ain't doing that. I'm going to go an extra month. I'm going to go an extra month, and I'm going to make sure I ease into that.
And he went home and he's like, I scared him straight.
So I got to give him a little bit of credit.
Find out that's a secret. I need to talk to Dr. Chen and see,
So, hey, doc, that's all you got to tell your patients is, hey,
Look, the good news is everything worked, but the bad news is if you don't follow this protocol,
if you're not perfect, it's over.
You're done.
Now the plot thickens.
But the reality of it is, it goes back to your why. You were motivated, whether it was fear, whether it was your family, your daughter, but you came up with a set of rules that were given to you, and whether the science behind it was accurate or not, the reason that it worked is you learned to develop new habits. You learned to develop new lifestyle changes that you knew needed to be present to be conducive for you being successful and losing weight. And you weren't going to take no for an answer. It wasn't like, well, I'm expecting to feel full. When one of my biggest concerns is I would have patients over the years when bypass was one of the most common surgeries that we did. And it's still a popular surgery, but patients would say, I want a bypass instead of a sleeve because a bypass will punish me when I eat wrong. Patients knew what dumping syndrome was. Dumping syndrome almost always happened when you eat high sugar content foods. The reason dumping syndrome happens in a gastric bypass patient is you eat sugary food. Let's say you eat a milkshake or eat some ice cream, right? Yeah. And that sugar leaves your little pouch and goes straight into the intestines that used to be somewhere around 200 to 225 centimeters downstream. because we've disconnected the intestines. This goes to the top, this plugs in here, and it used to go in up here. So your duodenum, or the first part of your small intestines, it's bypassed, and that's where a lot of absorption occurs. Well, in a normal anatomy, in a sleeve patient, your anatomy is still in order from top to bottom. We didn't rearrange anything. We just made your stomach a different size. When your duodenum sees sugar, it sends a signal, hey, Moshi just ate sugar. We need some insulin. And you make insulin, and you pull that sugar into the cells, and then the insulin levels will go down. That's why simple sugars create all these cravings, and you want more sugar because your insulin spikes so high because you get so much sugar, and then it drops, and then you feel like you got so I need more, right?
Yeah. Yep.
In a bypass patient, your duodenum no longer sees food. And it also no longer, if it doesn't see food, it doesn't see sugar. So you eat that ice cream, you drink that milkshake, and your jejunum, which used to be way downstream, sees sugar, and your body's like, whoa. How did we miss this sugar? You didn't pick it up in the duodenum. We got to catch up. And you overcompensate, and you make all this insulin, and you overshoot. So then you bottom out. And when you bottom out, you get diarrhea, you get nausea, vomiting, you get the shakes, you get abdominal cramping, you feel like crap. That's dumping syndrome. So we would have patients say, I want the bypass because I want my body to slap me on the wrist when I eat something bad, and then maybe I won't do it as much. And I used to say, if you depend upon your body to teach you habits, your body will eventually fail you. And I'll tell you this quick story. I had a former partner. He had a lady, growing up in Eastern Kentucky, everybody drinks sweet tea. My mom makes the best sweet tea. It ain't good for you, but it tastes really good. It's got a ton of sugar in it, right? So she came in and she said her struggle was she drank a gallon of sweet tea a day.
Wow.
So she wanted a bypass, and she talked him into it. So she had a bypass, and she started off, she would drink a little bit of sweet tea, but after a few drinks, she'd feel terrible and she wouldn't drink it. But then a couple of weeks later, she'd drink a little bit more sweet tea before those symptoms came on. Over time, it took more and more and more sweet tea before she dumped. And before you knew it, she's back. She didn't follow up. 2 years later, she gained all her weight back. She's now drinking a gallon of sweet tea, and she doesn't even dump anymore. Oh. So you applied the lifestyle changes without having to have that feedback. I think there's something so powerful about doing things day in and day out that don't give you immediate gratification, but you know they're the right things to do.
100%.
And that's where you were treating your head, and when you thought you were treating your stomach.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a great example of how mental health is such a vital role for people to have long-term success and after having weight loss surgery.
1,000%. I love you for all your wisdom and the way you explained it. And I'm just sponging it all. And believe me, I'm the student here, and I'll never forget any of these words, but it's just an addition to my knowledge of how to continue to do what I've been doing. And I appreciate your blessings on all the people you've blessed with and all the things that you've done. And I think that we have something great that we can put together, as a great example for the world to realize. Patrick Bet-David?
I don't.
Okay, so he's got a really big podcast, and he had Donald Trump a week before his presidency, and he hangs out with Joe Rogan and whatnot. He is starting a school in Florida and emphasizing health before academics. Wow. So he is making like you're going to learn about health before academics. You know what I mean? Like not technically, but you know what I'm saying? Like priority is going to be about health.
Important, like learning
because
about your health.
These days, school teaches you very little about health. I mean, you've got cafeteria, you've got, all these vending machines. I don't know, some of them, they're taking them out here in Cali. They take the vending machines out, but you can find junk at a snap of a finger and whatever
Absolutely.
it is. But, so he's incorporating learning the aspect of health. So I think we our team can put a great thing together. Right now, I'm at the point where I was talking to Laura about these guys from London that did Anthony Lawley's documentary. They did a really good job. They're going to be flying out here a week or two before my skin surgery, which is February 12th. Doing this documentary, I think we can put something together to be a never-ending series that Netflix really needs. I mean, the 600-pound life, the 1,000-pound sisters, I mean, that was great, but that was more of like a reality show. I mean,
he's on that show, right?
Right. So, well, listen, I think we could, I think,
not 600-pound life. I'm on 1,000-pound sister.
So he's like,
okay.
Get it
and I
right.
saw that. Yeah.
But you know what? Here, I want you to finish, but I want to say this really quickly because of the traction of that show. I will say that there's been lots of people that there've been a variety of people that have approached me about whether it be doing a different show and something like that. And, I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this with Laura on our podcast when we launched this, but for you, because you brought it up, I struggled with when I was approached about being part of the show. And it wasn't that I didn't want to help the Slaytons. I didn't want to help Tammy. I didn't want to help Chris. I didn't want to help Amanda. I didn't want to help all of them. And I'm so grateful for that because they're amazing people. And I hope it's created a platform for me that I hope people see as I'm using it for good. But I was not fond of the narrative that was out there on these shows prior. And I'm not going to name names and, I don't want to point fingers. I'm sure everybody's intentions are good, but I was not fond of the narrative. I felt like the viewers were there to not really learn about what these people struggle with and more about the shock value. Let's just be honest with you.
Yeah.
I did not like how the people were portrayed. I did not like how they were talked to. I think one of the biggest compliments I've ever got from being involved in 1,000-Pound Sisters is people have reached out to me on numerous occasions and said, I watched you on the show and I finally had the courage to go seek help because I knew that I could be treated with empathy and respect. And I knew that, that was something that could be welcoming to me. And I didn't feel like I was a failure. But I struggled before I became involved because of that. And I was challenged by somebody close to me to say, well, then make a difference. Like you can control your own narrative. Now, the show's not all about me and I can't control, but I can control what I do. And I have never and will never read off of a script and be somebody that I'm not.
Right.
And so when I've had these people approach me and they're like, okay, so, how many patients do you have that are above this weight or above this weight? I'm like, stop it. Like I have those people, but there's somebody who's 225 pounds, who's a 5'2" female, who's never been able to have children. And this is the chance that they can get to lose just 70 pounds and they can have a family. The people that can find a relationship, the people that can do all these things. That's the story that I want to tell. And if that doesn't bring the viewer in, it creates a dilemma for the people who are willing to fund it. But I know that story resonates with people. And we can share those stories with people about the 600-pound is the extreme. And, I just operated on somebody that weight and I'm so excited what we're going to do for that individual. But on that same day, there were 6 other people that may not be close to that number, that their life is going to drastically change for the better.
Yep.
And that's the story that we want to tell, humanizing the disease of obesity that more than 50% of the people are battling it with. And their journey is very different on how we overcome it. But by gosh, we're going to freaking overcome it.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that, doctor. I love that very much and send chills in my body to listen to that. I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, it's about being genuine approach and helping people genuinely like you have been. And, finding people that want to transform their life. I always tell myself, if I can help change just 10 lives in my lifetime, that would be a big milestone. That would be huge because those 10 people are going to tell however many people, right? And it should spread. But so blessed that my uncle is going through with it to change his life, help him see a better, healthy life. He's only 55 or 56, and he's got beautiful kids.
Yeah.
And, I just love, I have a few friends, these Greek guys that own, the hamburger shops. They own like a franchise of like 15 of them. And, they're sitting around like 380, 5'5". And the same thing as me. They were scared as hell to get this thing done. I'm going, dude, if I can give all my money, all my investments, I would give it up right now to do that surgery. The knowledge that I have today that I didn't have yesterday, I will ride that statement until I take my last breath, because that's how I truly feel about this. And I'm going, why didn't I do this freaking, 15 years ago when I was trying to have kids and I couldn't because I was overweight. And man, I will be an advocate for this testimony. And if we can genuinely help touch the world, 10 lives a year for this series show that we may do, and whatever it may be, it's going to be for the good. It really is going to be for the good. And it's going to be super powerful, super helpful. I have friends like Mario Lopez that
Ice Cube. I saw that.
Ice Cube, and a matter of fact, I'm gonna be bringing him into the documentary because he's going to talk about health. But Nate Diaz, I mean, name it, Floyd Mayweather. I know all these guys, and at the end of the day, it's nice to get Hollywood perspective, because it's authenticity for the larger volume of people. Like, oh, he's talking. Let's listen.
Right. Who's
Moshi? Who's Doctor? Who's Laura? But at the end of the day, you use the right tool. You use the right key to open the right Lambo, right? You have the right key, you can open that, you can drive that car. If you don't have the right key, you can't open the car. Yeah. But if you have the right tools and you implement, that Hollywood cinematic approach, which it's unfortunate that you have to gather people's attention. So you use that, and you use the living testimony of you and all of us, and then just touch people's lives day to day. I mean, it's going to be epic. There's nothing on Netflix right now or anything out there that can help spread health and awareness. And Patrick McDavid, I named him, would absolutely, I mentioned him, the whole documentary. He goes, I'll be in it for you, and I'll do it for free, and I'm not going to charge you a penny. He goes, I love you, and I'm very happy with what you've done and what you're spreading. He goes, do you know I'm opening up a school just for health, to be health cautious? And I said, wow. So that's when I knew he was really sincere about it. But we really can touch the whole world. We could touch the whole world with this. And I don't know how to approach it. We could talk about it on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think we can have some good conversations. I said this to somebody the other day, because right now in the climate and in the arena of obesity, it is the biggest epidemic we've ever seen. And I'll argue that all day, every day. And you can count 2020. And this is the biggest epidemic that we've ever seen, because it's ongoing and it's not stopping, and it's growing and growing and growing. But in 2024, bariatric surgeries have dropped by 50%. And that's because of the 50. Now, our practice has actually continued. Yeah, our practice has continued to grow. Would it have grown more? But it's continued to grow. We're very fortunate for that. And it's not because, oh, great, I get to do more surgeries, because we're still impacting lives. Now, that drop in 50% is not a good thing, because guess what? Obesity rates have continued to rise in the face of surgeries going down. Hear me when I say this. There is such a valuable role of the medications in the right scenario. But we're going to see a big plateau and then spike of surgeries, because inaccessibility for being able to afford the medications, unwanted side effects, people losing weight the wrong way and losing body mass. That is not to poo-poo the medications. Anybody that wants to take this out, at least we can control how this is edited, so I know it won't be taken out of context. Yeah. But they definitely have a role. But I'm saying that to tell you that we are currently seeing the number of surgeries drop, and then we're going to see them rise. And I made a statement to somebody the other day doing an interview, and I said, I hope there's the day that I can't make a living operating on people anymore. Not because I think the medications are going to change the world. It's because we have finally conquered the disease of obesity. I know there'll be a role for what I do no matter what. Oh, yeah. I may be doing stuff like inevitable. This and other things. But my thing is this: I hope they try to make me unemployed, because guess what? People are better.
You won.
That's all I care about. That is truly all I care about. I've never fretted when the medications came on the market of, oh no, it's going to take my job. Because if it's truly making people better, I'm good. I'll be okay. I promise you.
That's right. God's got you.
These things like you're talking about and these projects, they are powerful. And they can lead people to finding out how to eat a healthy way, finding out how to afford good, healthy foods, finding how to incorporate good, healthy activities into their lifestyle. You have the ability to join any gym in the world that you want to, but you don't go to a gym because you've incorporated it into your lifestyle. We can do this, and we can provide resources to people with mental health specialists, not because they're crazy, but to help them make that connection like you did, whether you realized it or not, of like, there's a thing that I need to do in my life, and I've now turned it into a habit. I finally broke through and said, I know I need to go to the gym, but for some reason I can't get myself to do it. I finally broke through and figured it out.
Yeah. It's like burning
that changes the world.
It's like burning all the boats and saying, I must do this, not I should, but I must. Moshi, I absolutely love everything about you, your story, your love for your family.
I love you. I love you. And I love everything about you. I promise. And
thank you.
And, we've talked a lot, from the beginning, why I chose to come back. And I believe in you. I love what you do. And we're going to kill it all together. But so I don't forget, I want to say two things, Dr. Eric. Two things is, the first thing regarding this Ozempics or GLPs or whatever, I always tell people, the way I explain to people is, look, okay, you choose the Ozempic versus gastric sleeve, whatever tool you choose, you must understand there is a time frame of window for each one that is going to allow you to do what? Change your mind and your habit. So you cannot use, it's just merely a simple tool that you need to utilize to do the better. So whether it's gastric sleeve or bypass or bariatrics or Ozempics, those are tools to get you to the next level. One may have a longer, I think the sleeve is definitely going to give you a lot better of a chance to lose it and give you that cushion of, look, so I tell everybody, the first 6 months, the sleeve did all the heavy lifting for me. Okay. There was no absolute way I'm going to gain a damn pound because I couldn't eat anything. After the 6 months, going into every month after that, it was like, I can have 2 wings now and 3 wings. I better hold off and get back into the mental game here. More protein, less fun, So that's one aspect of it, is you're absolutely right. It's all about the mindset. And it's not that one may be better than the other. I think that the gastric sleeve is, in my opinion, I'm just saying this, is a better tool for me. And I think it would be a better tool for a lot of people that have serious, anyways, that's another subject. But long story short, that's one. The other thing is you got to incorporate you got to dig deep down, and like you were saying, the why factor. What is it that really is going to keep you determined to lose that weight? And it's all about the habits and lifestyle, And I mean, I'm going off in different times, but definitely the habit is the biggest thing. I'm sorry, Laura, to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I want to be able to share how our listeners can continue to follow your story, because I know that you have some exciting things coming at the beginning of the year. We are going to be working on some exciting things together as well.
Yes.
Where can they follow you? Your Instagram is the best place. I know.
Instagram, Moshi TV, Moshi, my last name, and TV with 2 E's. The reason why I chose that, and this is a funny story, is when I was overweight and I was 420 pounds, I thought, I'm gonna probably die soon. So all these vacations I'm taking, I want a memory for my children to look back at me. And so I begun recording all these trips to Hawaii and wherever I was going, Italy and there. And I said, thank God, at least I've got 4 videos down, 4 nice vacations that my kids can come back to and look at and say, there is Dad, there's Grandpa, there's whoever is watching it, and then I begun this health transformation. I'm going, all right, cool. I'm just going to keep going with it. All my family members from here and there are like, Moshi TV, so I have a YouTube channel. So I incorporated that with the Instagram, and it was Moshi TV. The who cares and so what channel. But yeah, at the end of the day, we'll touch some lives out there.
Yeah, that's right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we absolutely loved your story, and thank you for being so vulnerable and so open. I
love
know
you guys.
that there's so many different aspects of your story that's going to touch others. And if you want to learn more about Moshi, check out the captions. We're going to have all his links. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Pop Culture Podcast.
Shout out to Pop Culture. I love you guys, Pop, and I'm being genuine. This is a genuine shout out that you guys are doing an amazing thing by helping the world change one life at a time. And God bless you for the vision that you have. God bless you, Dr. Eric Smith, for obviously doing the amazing, procedures every day and helping your clients and your extended family members now that love you and pray for you, I'm sure, because I pray for all my surgeon and bless both of you. And, let's get together and change the world one life at a time.
Thank you.
Love
so
it, man.
much, Moshi.
Great talking with you.